Electric vehicle history and evolution of electric vehicles. During 18th century, the first EV was built in 1834 by Thomas Davenport, which is about 150 years back. It was a tricycle which uses a non-rechargeable battery. After the invention of lead-acid battery, recharge, and a rechargeable battery-based EV was built in 1874 by David Salomons. Then the first trolley system was built in 1886 by Frank Sprague. With this development, it was possible to develop commercial products by 1886. So all these developments led to popularization of EVs in the managed team automobiles in a global scenario. During 1900s, in 1900, about 4,200 automobiles were sold in USA, 38% were EVs. By 1912, around 34,000 EVs were registered in US. So it was one of the mainstream modes of transport during that time. Several companies in US, England and France made EVs by 1900. The popular companies are Electric Carriage and Wagon Company, which came up with its model called Electrobat in 1894, Pope Manufacturing Company in US which made 500 EVs by 1898 in the name Columbia, Ricker Electric Company made a model called Victoria in 1897, which has become a household name in 1900, since it had a very good design. Bouquet, Garson and Chevrolet, BGS, in France, which has developed many types of EVs in all scales. Right from cars, buses and limousines of all varieties. So one of its products had world record of 290 kilometers per charge. There was another EV named Jamais Content, which has captured a record of 110 kilometers per hour in 1899. Jamais Content means never satisfied. Fall of EVs. EVs started disappearing by 1930s due to the two developments. The first development was that Henry Ford has gone for mass production of Ford Model T in 1925. The price of ICEVs is 1/3 of the cost of the EVs. So due to this, the EV become much costlier compared to ICEV engine-based cars. The second development was the invention of automobile starter motor by Charles Kettering that removed manual cranking and enabled electric ignition and start. So due to these two developments, not only the cost of ICE engines-based cars were less, also it is very user-friendly compared to EVs and customer satisfaction. Because ICE engine can be used now in urban areas and remote areas. And it doesn't require electricity to charge the batteries. Resurgence of EV. Reasons of resurgence in EVs on 1970, break time is equal to 0. 2s The Arab oil embargo of 1973 increased demands for alternate energy sources. Increased air pollution led to worst smog in London in 1950s and in California in 1960s. 1970s retriggered strict emission regulations. In 1990, the regulation by California Air Resources Board, CARB, leads to the development of EV. According to the regulation, 2% of all vehicles to be sold in California in 1998 should be zero-emission type and it should be 10% by 2003. In 1976 Congress enacted Public Law 94-413, the Electric Hybrid Vehicle Research, Development and Demonstration Act. The Act authorizes a federal program to promote electric vehicle technologies and to demonstrate the commercial feasibility of EVs. There was also a great push in academic circles to promote the research and development in EV. One of them was the organization of Great Electrical Car Race in 1968. The race was between Boston near MIT to Pasadena, near California Institute of Technology, which is known as Caltech. The challenge was to develop EVs by universities. The EV has to travel from MIT to Pasadena and Pasadena to MIT, covering a distance of around 3,400 miles. There were 53 intermediate recharging stations. It was one of the important events among the universities of US. The event helped the industry in US to come up with commercial EVs. Due to strict regulations and the opportunity of getting subsidies, many automakers in US, Japan and Europe started the development of EVs. The major EV companies in US are General Motors, Ford, US Electric Car, Selectria and Chrysler in US. In Japan, companies like Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Mazda, Daihatsu, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, Isuzu and Subaru led the way for the development of EVs. In Europe, PSA Peugeot, Renault, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volvo, Volkswagen, Opel, Fiat and Bedford launched their own EVs. General Motors were able to launch many EVs in which few of them are experimental EVs. The experimental EVs are Elecrovare in 1966, Electrovan in 1968, Electrovet in 1979. The technologies used are SCR-based conventional separately excited DC motor and Ni-ZN batteries. The specification of the EV is 60 miles per hour, 80 kilometers range. In 1970s Ford launched some of its EVs, like Fiesta EV, Escort EV, Aerostar and EcoStar. In 1970s-1980s Nissan developed EV4, EV Resort, President EV and Cedric EV. In 1980, Toyota produced EV named EV10 to EV40. Fiat made experimental EVs X1/23 and Y10 in 1980s and Electra in 90s. By late 90s many companies launched their EVs. The performance and efficiency are good.